Wow, wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Spawn number 4, and I'm super excited to be with you guys today. Today, in this special episode, we're going to talk about Avalanche, its ecosystem, and more importantly, we're going to have a very, very interesting opportunity to talk to Ellie, the co-founder of Colony Labs, Avalanche #1 Launchpad, where we're doing a lot of great things together. And I heard that with that special surprise, we're going to have a very nice alpha deal with Colony Labs' token as well, but as well more coming forward within the Avalanche. As you guys know, my name is Sarah Swizzell. I'm the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. So why are we talking about Avalanche today? So as you guys know, since 2015, we have had a change into crypto, right? Ethereum, the queen, came in place and said crypto is not about only currencies, it's about developing blockchains that are able to scale, to enable us to finally build decentralized applications, to create a peer-to-peer culture where we could finally build a real meritocracy, right? We'll go from Web 2 to Web 3. And we've seen multiple different blockchains trying to compete with essentially Ethereum, but due to multiple different reasons, but one of the most one was technical reasons, we haven't seen so many that have this real potential, right? We've seen BNB, which technically was not maybe something, very different from Ethereum, it was more a fork itself, and then it was very centralized, but that was one that did extremely well, and is still doing very well in terms of activity in TVL. We have Solana on this surge of Solana, which went from zero to hero, from $10 to now $100. Obviously, things got gone really crazy for that. And we've seen Cardano, that there's a lot of hopes, but still in very small amounts of activity. And we have Avalanche here. And Avalanche right now, which is 12 billion market cap, right? $35. It has made a lot of noise in the recent quarter or so because the performance went quite crazy. And what we really have to understand here is that layer 1s or layer 2s is still a theme to play, right? Since cycle number 2, cycle number 3, and cycle number 4, we will see a lot of different layer 1s and layer 2s grow, and a lot of layer 1s and 2 that will probably go out of business for multiple reasons, right? So here we see that it's at 35, and at the all-time high from the previous cycle, we were actually at 134. So if we want to get to the same all-time high than last time, we still have essentially a 4x to be done. But here, we're going to talk about why this is not only the price action that we should look at more fundamentals. And the one way that I like looking at fundamentals is always trying to understand what is the mission of each different token. We know it's a blockchain. We know that it is fighting to grow an ecosystem around it, right? Because we always have to understand that a layer 1 or layer 2 of blockchain, their business is a B2B to C, right? They should sell essentially their services to decentralized applications then that we essentially use on top of it, right? As consumers. It's very, very important. And what they're trying really to do is to create a world without limits, right? I think so. This is really what they're trying to do, is surely to try to create this super highway or this train tracks where you're able to scale the fastest possible and to make it as well, of course, very secure. And what I like very much about what Avalanche is doing right now is that they're a bit different from Solana, right? They first made the smart choice, I believe, to go EVM compatible, right? And they're developing a new solution, actually, that is the C chain, is what we're all using on MetaMask or whatsoever. They're actually trying to create a new way to have a new EVM that's completely proprietary to themselves. So to really make it much better than what we've already seen. So this is the first thing. Very different from Solana. So it's not an Ethereum killer. It has embraced at least the EVM. And of course, it will be competing with Ethereum, and it's already doing. But this is already the first thing to really see how it is different. And I think so it's a smart move because essentially it's better for infrastructure. It's better for all these different wallets to not download a new one. If you want to go on Avalanche, go on MetaMask. You can use it on different wallets. You don't need to essentially develop your own infrastructure. That's the first thing. Second, which I really like technically, and we will have another, essentially another session with more technicality, but to understand the two big differentiators for me, which is very interesting, is then they took something very similar to someone else, which is Polkadot. And as you see, like essentially Ethereum, or if not Solana, what they're doing essentially is they're building a way that you do rollups. And rollups is a way that you build vertically, right? So what you do is that each time someone creates a decentralized application and uses one of the blockchain, you essentially have your own seats into a bus. And that's really cool because you have your own bus. But what happens if the bus essentially doesn't have a lot of people inside of it? There's not a lot of transactions that happen. Then it costs a lot to make it happen. So where they're doing it, they're building essentially horizontally, which makes it a bit like the parachains. If you guys remember the parachains, there's these parasitic auctions, then everyone's able to essentially develop their own token, their ecosystem on this parachain. And this is a bit what I think the Avalanche is doing in a very smart way with these subnets, is that they've really been able to tap into how you could build this all on a horizontal level. And I really like that because you could really be able to create your own token, your own ecosystem in a very smart way. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, you could look at the kings of DeFi. So here, Stani from Aave, Sergey as well from Chainlink, and many other people that have been really very much building applications on top of essentially Avalanche. I think this is something that is very, very, very interesting. Besides that, there's of course a huge community that's around Avalanche in terms of developers. There's as well a very, very big in terms of essentially people that are building decentralized applications on it. We could go through that a little bit later, but there's as well a lot of enterprises. The JP Morgan, there's few different traditional players that are really looking at this at a very serious way because they understand that these subnets, it's a great way. So it's a bit like, if you created Wix, the platform, then people could build websites that are running on different servers and that enable you to essentially scale your business in a more long-term basis and not right away pay a lot and, build your own infrastructure, run your own infrastructure and have a high cost for this. It's more like, we do this as a template, and this is very, very interesting regarding that. Now, a very important thing to make sure that any of these blockchains have a very good business model is that it has multiple transactions, right? This is what all a blockchain is about. It's about validating transactions, and people that are staking these tokens essentially get to validate these nodes and these transactions, and therefore get essentially, a fee out of it, right? And if there's no transactions, well, essentially, it's like a train where it doesn't move anywhere, right? It just have tracks and has a train, but no one goes from A to B to C, right? So let's check out the applications themselves. So there's something around art and culture, and I'll pass that one because that, for now, is not the big one. But the most anticipating one is there's a lot of things regarding video games. The community around Avalanche is very US driven, not only, but it's international, but it's very US driven. So they do have essentially a lot of cases right now that are building really, really cool games. For me, one of the nicest case of the games that I really want to see is Sharpnel, right? So here are all the different games, as you can see, that are building on top of it. Sharpnel for me is definitely one of the most exciting. It's quite insane how this battle game is brilliantly done. It looks like almost PS5 type of graphics. And I know that I can't say much, but I'm very excited by for multiple different reasons. It's really cool. It really looks like a really great game. So as you can see, I'm very excited about that. This game is definitely going to be one of the killer ones. And we know that, again, that games are very well done. They're very suitable to have multiple different transactions going. And the list of titles of these games just goes on and on and on. There's so many different games that some are AAA, some are not, and it's good not to only have AAA games. But this really shows again that the ecosystem is really big, and it's going to be launching a lot of new games that will bring a lot of attraction into Avalanche itself. Now, if we look now more into DeFi, which again, DeFi is still the strongest application for crypto for now, right? Because it really has been tested in the previous cycle and in the third cycle, which was in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And we see right now that essentially, if you look at all the different chains, Avalanche has 860 million, so close to $1 billion of TVL that is locked. And if you look in terms of chain itself, well, it is 8th right now, right? So you have 359 essentially applications that are built on top of it, which is really, really nice here. You have close to $1 billion, as I said. You have more than $1 billion as well in stables, which is very nice. The volume is okay-ish in 24-hour, but we could look at if up again. You see, it still gets pretty much there, which is nice, right? The fees that it is 24 hours, $46,000 per day, which is nice, right? If you look at different other ones, we still don't know what's the fees. It's not great, but it's still good. It's still, in the top 5, which is really nice. And in terms of market cap versus TVL, though it is quite high, I would say is the one thing that we could look at. And last but not least, the volume in NFT is still quite small. But let's get more into the apps itself. So in terms of the essential applications on Avalanche right now, you have a Banqui, which is really liquid staking, but there's borrowing lending as well. You have Aave that has as well a nice on it. There's Trader Joe that we talked about this multiple different times. Trader Joe essentially is their main DeFi application, which has, a DEX on it, which works well. But there's different things regarding that. There is GMX using it for derivatives. There's Stargate, as you guys know, it's a yield farming platform, and there's a few others. So you really see that they have their own decentralized applications, but the main other decentralized applications are using them too. And this is very, very, very favorable for growth, because what you see is that you have your own thing, but the current big ones that are already on Ethereum or on different protocols are using it as well. And this shows that, well, there's money coming from it, but there's as well these applications and these protocols that are saying like, yeah, well, actually it makes sense to incorporate you guys because you're doing great stuff. And that's why, for example, the people from Aave, Stani, said currently that he was very favorable for seeing Avalanche growing. The one thing, though, that is a bit missing here is a Launchpad, right? A Launchpad for their own chain, because every, essentially protocols that have their own Launchpad. And here you see that they don't really have it per se, right? They have all these different, applications that are built, that are multi-chain, and they have their own. But here is missing a bit, essentially, their Launchpad. And I think this is very important because you need those incubators. They have Avalabs, that's a great investor that helps people to use their beautiful technology, but as well to invest. But the big thing that you need in order to attract a lot of people is a Launchpad. And the great news here is that we figure out a collaboration that will be going on with Colony Labs. And right now we're going to talk with Ellie, the co-founder himself. So tune in and enjoy the show. Borgers, as you guys know, SwissBorg has been creating for you one of the best investments for already now 4 years. And for that, we've been talking and trying to really find the best elite projects. And for this today, I'm very excited to have Ellie, the founder and CEO of Colony Lab, to join us and to talk about how great and how cool Colony Lab is and what they're doing. Very excited to have you, Ellie. Warm welcome to yourself.
Yeah, pleasure being here with you guys, and with you, and starting to feel a bit more part of the SwissBorg community. It's really amazing after all these years.
Great, thank you, Ellie. So maybe as a short introduction, I would like to know who you are and what you do at Colony Labs.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Ellie. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Colony Lab. So I have like a traditional finance background. I worked at big banks like UBS, Crédit Agricole in both Paris and New York in asset management and wealth management. And I've been following crypto since around 2013, 2014. And I really went full time in early 2017. I built several businesses helping projects launching token, back then STOs, and also doing like a lot of arbitrage trading between a lot of crypto exchanges back then. Then I launched directional long short hedge fund back in 2019, focused on Bitcoin and Ether. Then I pivoted into more like DeFi application after a DeFi summer. And after reaching out to Ava Labs and talking with them, I then created Colony to accelerate the growth of the Avalanche ecosystem in 2021. And back then, very few DeFi protocols were on Avalanche. And now, over 2.5 years later, we helped many of these protocols. We funded more than 20 projects. We built DeFi products like the largest Avalanche index called KAI, standing for Colony Avalanche Index. And we're going to release a seed funding platform that we've been building for the past 2 years now that will enable the community to invest in seed deals and then trade their allocation, even if the seed token is not live yet. So the goal is really to make the primary market liquid and enabling the community to invest in seed deals alongside big venture capital firms. So that's who I am, and that's what we do in a nutshell.
Well, I really love that. That's definitely having a very quite a similar background. It's always fun that a lot of people that we start in TradFi, and then we look at, if you agree with this, we look at crypto as a great asset class. Then we look at it more as an ecosystem. And the more we get to know this ecosystem, the more we start to see like, oh, there's so many great opportunities where you could build your wealth, but you could as well, help projects to get where they need and help as well community members to invest in the right projects. Is a bit that the mission that you feel yourself, at least with Colony Labs?
Yeah, Colony Lab is a driving force in accelerating the Avalanche ecosystem. So our mission is twofold. So we empower early stage Avalanche projects with fundraising capabilities, and we also unlock unprecedented investment and yield opportunities for the community. So on the one side, with us, like builders and projects, they secure critical early capital, essential ecosystem support, organic early exposure, a thriving community of investors and future users. And we basically help them bring their vision to life. And on the other side, the community gains access to unparalleled seed investment opportunities and a diverse array of yield-generating products. And so to be a bit more specific, maybe, with Colony, the community is able to invest in seed deals alongside big venture capital funds, and they are liquid on their investment, unlike these big venture capital funds, which is basically unheard of in crypto at the moment. So we built this liquid vesting mechanism that is making the primary market liquid. We operate everything on chain, so it's as transparent as possible. And we currently serve more than 8,000 active users. And all of that is verifiable on chain, of course.
And so if I just go back to this, Ellie, because this is groundbreaking. This is something that, we probably almost I've never have seen so far, right? Which is, this is a Launchpad, which we've seen different Launchpads happening, especially in the second cycle, right? With ICOs in 2017. We saw some in the previous cycle, like Dealmaker and a few others, like Polkastarter and things like that. But here, what the groundbreaking thing is that not only are you able to participate with the best terms, such as venture capitals in these early TGEs, ICOs, whatever we want to call it, but you then are able to essentially bring liquidity to your investments before these tokens are actually listed. Is that the concept?
Yeah, that's correct. So the idea is you invest in a project, and even if that project, so you invest in the seed deal of that project, and so the project is going to build the protocol and then release at a later date their token. But on Colony, you will be able to trade basically your capacity to claim on the project vesting contract, meaning that you will be able to trade your allocation that you got through the Colony platform. So you can basically trade the token even if the token is not live yet. So that's what we built. So it's like a seed launchpad, and no one ever built that before in crypto. So we're pretty excited about it. And the liquidity will happen on a Uniswap V2 kind of AMM. So something that the community is, fairly comfortable with to use. And so it's going to be a pretty straightforward process for them to access that liquidity.
That is really, 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 really cool. I think that's something that a lot of people have dreamed about, but not someone has been able to deliver.
Yeah, like on this, to share more maybe on the vision. So the idea is really to make Colony a primary market powerhouse. So
right.
Coming from traditional finance, we are doing everything. The ECM, standing for Equity Capital Market, that the ECM team will do in an investment bank on the primary market side. But with Colony, it's all happening on-chain. It's very transparent, and it's bought by thousands of users and investors. So yeah, basically Colony's vision is really to open the doors that were previously closed to the community and empowering them with new tools to better benefit from the growth happening in Web3 from the very, very start of it. And the vision is also, to continue building DeFi products that solves problems and empower users. And while we do that, we are rerouting back all the created value back to people staking CLY and to the CLY token overall.
That's we're getting into the next obviously big question here is I still want to get back to this to the same question here is how did you guys come up with this idea, and how do you think that this is going to be played in this new cycle, this new fourth cycle that we're have, because we haven't had yet the witness this to be primary, right? Is there any project that you guys already done so far that you've seen this, or this is about to be launched very shortly?
So this is about to be launched very, very shortly. This is why this SwissBorg alpha deal is, I think, right on time.
Perfect.
And yeah, like this, really the goal, is that what we've witnessed before building that product is usually you have very few amount of VCs. They invest in these seed deals, right? The project is building the protocol, and then they go live, and then the community is coming in, and they buy this token at a very high valuation, right? And basically, they serve as the exit liquidity of all these big VCs, right? So that worked in the past, but we also know that a lot of people got burned with this mechanism. Right?
100%.
Yeah. So here the idea is to also have the community very early on in these seed deals to make sure they can capture that tremendous growth happening before the token is actually going live. And so that's beneficial for the community, but also for all these projects owner and all these protocols that are launching, because then they don't have to rely on 5-6 VCs, but they can rely on thousands of investors for their fundraising. And so therefore, when they're live, the risk of selling pressure coming from very few individuals is highly mitigated, right?
Very true.
So that's why we built it. I think it's going to empower the market, tremendously. And we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to working with SwissBorg on this as well. Yeah,
I mean, look, we first cycle, again, I never talk about too much the first cycle because it was just a crazy one, as you guys know. Prior to 2015, there was a lot of things happening. It's just that it was just a different cycle. But if you guys remember the second cycle, it was always all about crowdfunding. Everything was at ICOs, and some fortunate ICOs like ours did good well, then most of them didn't, and for multiple different reasons. But we saw, though, in the last cycle, I mean, there weren't so much. I mean, there was few platforms, but there was not so much attention, I think, so on these potential ICOs or IDOs or whatever you want to call it, TGs. and a lot of money was poured in the VC from the VCs. And as you exactly said extremely well, every token holder retail, we were their exit liquidity pockets, and it's definitely not cool. I mean, and I'm not saying VCs are bad. Again, you guys know we don't have any VCs at SwissBorg, but that's how we, things have been built. But it's just that these guys have mandates, and their mandates essentially is to make money, and they have sometimes 5 years, whatever type of horizon, so they have to liquid. I think so.
Exactly.
This new cycle, I 100% agree that Colony and other different platforms will enable to bridge those two worlds, where you'll have still VCs, not against VCs again, but you'll have a lot of crowdfunding that will happen. And as you guys know, we're a big fan of that. So we just talked about how great Colony Labs is driving its business by really incubating the best projects and offering this new way to invest and fortunately to bring liquidity in the primary markets. And as this very community-driven type of project, they have a fantastic token, which is CLY. Tell us a bit more, Ellie. What do you think about CLY and what's the utility behind it?
Yeah, for sure. So we really had time. Because we've been live for a long time now, so we really had time to, think this through and build like the strongest, tokenomics possible here. So, the only thing that you have to do to participate is you buy CLY. So, for example, on Trader Joe or other platforms, then you stake it, and then you will have access to a lot of rewards, and you will also be able to make investments on the upcoming seed Launchpad. So to tell you exactly how it works on all these rewards. So basically CLY delivers unparalleled utility. And it's tailored for both passive income enthusiasts and active investors. So staking CLY not only grants you basically the access to seed and private sales investment opportunities in innovative Avalanche projects, but it also unlocks a stream of passive income featuring AVAX rewards, platform fees, airdrop, Kai fees, and also liquidity provision rewards. So on the AVAX rewards, you get AVAX rewards by just taking CLY, and that is coming from our product called the Validator program. So we are distributing around 15,000 AVAX per year. So that's roughly at the current price, which is something like $35 per AVAX right now. It's more than $500,000 just in AVAX distribution that gets distributed to people staking CLY. So by just taking CLY, you get your share of this $500,000 every year. In terms of platform fees, so that more CLY that are distributed to our users from staking and unstaking functions. So to date, we distributed around 1 million CLY. So that's, again, a couple $100,000 worth of fees. In terms, so the third one was airdrops. So we do airdrops from early stage projects in which Colony has invested. So I think roughly right now we had a bit more than $20 million airdrop at a whole-time high. We also airdrop Kai. So Kai is the Colony Avalanche Index. So we have a bit more than, I think the total value locked in that index is above 2 million now. And we are generating fees out of this. And part of these fees are, again, sent to people staking CLY. And so, that's, again, more token that people are getting just by staking CLY through Kai. And in addition to all of these, all of the above, you also have access to special rewards stemming from Colony's Avalanche DeFi liquidity position. So as of now, our liquidity, our treasury, is something around $25 million. So it's pretty volatile because all of this is in AVAX. And part of that is also in protocols earning yield. For example, we have a bit more than $2 million in Delta Prime, and we have more in other protocols. And so we basically are generating yield there, and then we distribute that yield back to people staking CLY. So that's just by staking CLY. So the best part is that you can choose to be either an active investor or a passive investor within colonies platform, as I mentioned earlier. So to get all these rewards, you won't need to perform much actions besides the simple act of staking. And if you are an active investor, basically the more CLY you stake, the more USDC you will be able to commit in all the seed deals that will fundraise through Colony. So that will create even more, utility for CLY. So that's a lot to take in, I know.
There's a lot to take. It is, but it's very how do you say it? It's quite straightforward when you think about it. What it is that you've thought extremely well in terms of token utility, how to create essentially a token that gets a lot of rewards based on if you're staking it or you're investing it, right? If you're able to invest into these different projects. So I think so, for the airdrop, through the Colony Avalanche Index, it really has this great thing. Just to maybe sum up, to make sure that everyone understands, and I understand as well, if tomorrow I'm staking, for example, CLYs in the platform, but I'm not investing into products, do I still receive airdrops like as a launch pool, or do I have to invest on top of it?
So if you want to be a passive investor, and so basically just stake CLY and do nothing, you can, and you will receive everything that I just mentioned.
Right.
If you want to use your own capital and being able to invest in these early deals yourself, and so maximize the returns that you will get from these deals, you can by just, again, staking CLY, but you have to be more active. You have to register your interest on the protocol. You have to rate all these protocol that are trying to do fundraising, because there is like a community due diligence happening on the protocol.
Okay.
So yeah, but so if you just want to sit back and relax and earn a lot of reward and basically gain a lot of exposure of the Avalanche growth, you can just take CLY and you're getting AVAX, you're getting more CLY coming from staking and staking fees. And so that's important to highlight. We are not doing liquidity mining, right? So CLY is a valuable asset, and we do not distribute CLY just like this.
Right. And the CLY that's coming from the yield, it's from your native pool. I mean, from the fact your treasury. Is that correct, or?
No. So the CLY that are distributed are the platform fees. So that's basically when a new people are staking, we take a small fee there.
Of
because
course.
you're joining the colony, and so that rewards all the people that are already staking.
Oh, okay.
And when you unstake, same thing. We take a fee.
Okay. Entry exit fee.
Exactly. So people that are staking for a long time, they basically reap the most rewards out of this mechanism.
Love it. Very, very cool. That's very fascinating. That's really, really interesting. And right now, the total supply of CLY is?
So on the dashboard, you have it. So that data is the most accurate you can find. And the most, I think, interesting thing is that the treasury that we have is roughly equal to the circulating market capitalization, right? So, and the treasury, it's not just numbers that are there. If you click, for example, on the small information button, then we have the Colony Treasury wallet addresses, and there people can track all Colony's wallets, what we're doing with these wallets, and so on. So as of now, we have about 450,000 AVAX that are staked on the P chain. So that's not
beautiful.
So you cannot see them on the C chain, but the rest is you can track everything.
Very, very, very cool. Bringing Web3 at the best level. This is really cool.
On this, what is interesting is basically our treasury is equal to our circulating market cap, right? So it's and what I have to highlight,
it's the worst PE ratio you ever had in crypto. Usually it's like 100x on the other side. Just to make things clear, guys, if you guys know what I'm talking about, this is the most fundamentally makes sense to have. So probably this will have this is a very good green light in terms of fundamental valuations, put it that way.
And also what I have to highlight here is that treasury that you see is, just to be super clear, is Colony community treasury, right? So this has nothing to do with the capital that Colony team has access to pay expenses, exchange listing, lawyers and everything. We have a separate treasury for that. So this is, we're not going to take into that treasury any amount of capital to basically fund expenses, or this is solely focused towards, growing the Avalanche ecosystem and giving as much value back, as much as created value back to people staking CLY.
Love it. Now, of course, the big question is, now that we know that this is a great project, that the utility of the token CLY is great, and usually, as Alex says, my brother, it's very, very important to have a fundamentally strong company, but it's very, very important to make sure that the token economics and token utility matches well those products, because if not, well, then you could have a token that doesn't extract the value from the ecosystem, exactly. Which in here it definitely does. So why SwissBorg and what's all about this alpha deal?
Yeah, so to be really honest, I think SwissBorg is an amazing platform, and I've used it for many years now, personally. And I remember even looking, back in the days, at the white paper. I think it was in 2017 or so.
Yeah,
and,
correct.
And so, SwissBorg has a large user base, and we believe that they are eager to get exposure to the Avalanche ecosystem. And as we demonstrated earlier, I think Colony is probably the best proxy to get exposure to the growth happening on Avalanche. You just stake one token and you get access to all this yield and opportunities. And if you want to get active, then you can really get active and earn even more if you provide your own capital into these deals. And so yeah, that's the short answer. As we also mentioned, Colony is backed by a large treasury of currently 25 million. Again, this is very volatile because it's almost fully invested in the market right now. And that treasury routes the created value back to people staking CLY, thanks to the mechanism I explained earlier. And also, we have very deep connection inside the Avalanche ecosystem, because we've been here since the very beginning, right? We started building Colony, nothing was on Avalanche, I think Pangolin was just the first DEX that launched. That was the beginning of Avalanche DeFi. And we already started building, at that time. So we know basically everyone in the ecosystem. We have good relationship with AVALabs. I have calls with them every week. Same thing with Trader Joe. Good relationship with them. Yildia, Gogopool. I mean, the entire family there. So when there is deals and new people that want to create cool protocols, usually they talk to these teams, and they all end up they all end up talking to Colony at the end of the day, and we try to help them as best as possible.
Yeah, well, and that is definitely going to help for the future of Colony and pushing Avalanche. As you guys know, we're very bullish about Avalanche. We talked about this multiple times. Maybe you could say what you're most excited about Avalanche right now. Is there anything that you believe is a game changer, or any project that you believe that are about to show some great new excitement around it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, Colony is solely focused on Avalanche, right? So we believe crypto is a vast ecosystem, and so it's hard to do everything right in so many chains. So we choose Avalanche, and we then inside of Avalanche want to do a bit of everything, DeFi, GameFi, infrastructure, help all these teams, fundraising and basically go to market. So obviously I'm super excited about all the opportunities the Avalanche technology is bringing to the market right now. And so I think on a deeper level, the cool thing about Avalanche is builders, they can create interesting projects on Avalanche main chain, like we're doing at Colony, like Trader Joe and other protocols. But builders, they can also create their own custom blockchain using the Avalanche consensus, making it basically easier than before to create a new layer 1, for example. And so to be specific on that, Movement right now is building a layer 1 using the Avalanche technology, and they are leveraging the Move language, which was initially presented to the market by Facebook, and they are launching this year on Avalanche, and we're proud to be at Colony among the first investors that invested in their pre-seed. And so once they go live in the market this year, basically Colony community will be able to get access to free airdrop from Movement if they are staking CLY, because we have like a large allocation in their pre-seed. So
very exciting.
So that's one, for example, and also there is like incredible yields on Avalanche for stable coins. Not at the moment, but still at the moment. But for example, using Delta Prime, that was recently yielding more than 30% on USDC. I think that was like the perfect opportunity for people that don't want to take like a directional market exposure and earn, and that they want to basically be not take risk in the market right now and earn great yield on their stables. And basically they're able to do so. I don't want to get into too technical things, but basically Delta Prime is a under collateralized lending protocol, and when the market is going crazy and when there is volatility, people want to borrow capital to basically leverage their exposure in the market. And when they do that, people that are just lending their stable coin, they are making great APY. So, and we were yielding a bit more than 30% just a few weeks back on Delta Prime. And on this specifically, so Colony was the first to initially provide 1 million liquidity to Delta Prime. Now we are providing a bit more than 2. And basically, once again, people that are staking CLY, they will receive an airdrop from Delta Prime protocol when their token go live this year. So exciting about all this. I could talk about this for 7 hours or more, but I think we don't have that time, unfortunately.
Perfect. Ali, maybe last word for the Borgers that are listening to you. Anything that you have in mind?
Yeah, sure. Maybe to be a bit more specific on like how this deal between Colony and SwissBorg is going to help SwissBorg users. I think this is a great opportunity for SwissBorg to access a lot of quality deal flow on early stage deals on Avalanche, and basically thanks to Colony's relationship within the Avalanche ecosystem and the fact that we are monitoring the ecosystem 24/7. And as I mentioned earlier, we're nurturing all this relationship with Avalanche, Trader Joe, and so on. And we've been doing so for more than 2 years. So we are at the center of the ecosystem, of the Avalanche ecosystem, and we are the perfect partner to help SwissBorg find amazing deals for its community. So we're very, very excited to work together on this. From DeFi to GameFi, including infrastructure projects and subnets. We are really looking forward to sharing great deal flow with SwissBorg and to enable its community to access all these projects as well, and capitalize on that growth from the very beginning of it. And yeah, I think I've been a SwissBorg user myself for the longest time. So and a lot of people at Colony we use SwissBorg, not every day, but almost. And,
cool. Well, I'm very excited that, and this is the most beautiful thing to always happen is bring Borgers at their best and connect back again when they're creating the best platforms for our community and for the rest. So thank you so much, Ali. Really looking forward to do this amazing alpha deal opportunity only for you guys, Borgers. So we know it's going to be, not everyone's going to be able to get into this deal, but I'm sure we'll be doing a lot of cool stuff with Colony. So you're going to hear Colony Labs multiple times. Looking forward to it. Take care. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, guys. That was a pleasure to sharing all this detail with you. Have a good one.
Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful powwow, specialized on powwow with interviewing essentially the CEO of Colony Labs. It's really great to see Borgers become very successful and, of course, offering you the best opportunity to get into these early alpha deals. I think so. This is really this virtuous cycle that we've been trying to repeat. And it's very hard. It's very, very hard to find people like Ellie and other people to really get to love and really work hard to go through this bear cycle and to hopefully grow from this and live about like SwissBorg. It reminds me very much the SwissBorg story. I'm very, 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 very excited about how essentially Avalanche is developing its ecosystem, how SwissBorg, as it done with the Max with Solana, will probably do cool stuff going forward with Avalanche, at least at the investment side, and hopefully probably different things on technology side. As you know, Avalanche is one chain that we do support within SwissBorg with USDC and probably other tokens going forward. AVAX, of course, is a token you could stake through SwissBorg, and that's why we did things with GoGo Pool. So all of these things are connecting. These dots are connecting together, and they're always connecting to this beautiful, wonderful ecosystem, and hopefully going forward more regarding the Borg itself. Cannot say more about that, but I'm very excited. This week as well, it's all about meeting you guys around Europe. I'm very excited about seeing people in Zurich, seeing people, of course, in Paris and in Brussels. I wish you guys all the best. And as always, be healthy, be wealthy. Love our equity, love our Borg and equity. Much love. Take care, guys. Bye.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.